I try not to overthink gratitude and the law of attraction. One philosopher said that when you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. That right there is a baseline of gratitude. Gratitude isn't just a feel-good attitude. It is a weapon against entitlement and anxiety. It brings you out of your head and into the moment. When most people roll out of bed, they fall straight into autopilot. Notification, mental noise, mental rehearsing, memories. They are reacting before they even return to themselves. And the truth is, you don't direct your attention. If you don't direct your attention first thing in the morning, the world will direct it for you. So if you can be present, if you can appreciate what you have, that unlocks the path to more. It gives you clarity. It grips anxiety and entitlement and put it aside and give you that opportunity to use the goodness you have in the moment to produce more goodness and positivity for your life. So I learned this from my grandmother. She's always saying this, that it's a miracle to wake up. And this is one of the most overlooked miracles. Simply waking up, breathing, opening your eyes to a brand new unwritten day. You didn't even earn it. You weren't promised it, but you got it. That's power. That's grace. That's where your strength actually begins. What you achieve when you own that gratitude, recognizing that this moment is a gift. You have the gift of being alive before anything else in the mornings, before your text, before your to-do list, even before your coffee. Pause and say this to yourself. I'm grateful to be here, not because life is polished and perfect, but because it is present. I am present. I am here. And I think it was Les Brown who said that every day is a good day. If you don't believe, try to miss one. We must be grateful. There is no way around the critics and the cynics. I don't know if you've ever heard of the famous speech called The Man in the Arena by Theodore Roosevelt in 1910. And it says that it's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcomings, who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasm, the great devotion, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst knows that if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly. If you're afraid to look stupid, if you're afraid to be ridiculed, if you're afraid to be criticized, if you're afraid to be doubted, the seeds of greatness are not planted in you. You'll never do anything great because there'll always be naysayers. You could never sell me on the concept of hard work as an end. You hear me give hard work the flack all the time. I don't believe in it as a complete strategy. It is only a part of the plan. I watch my grandmother, I watch those who grew up in my community, the community I grew up in. I watch those who live there work hard all their lives. What do they have to show? Existence, getting by, keeping up. Have you ever noticed that the people who work the hardest are rarely the ones in power? They break their backs while others play chess with their future. They sweat under the sun while the ones in the shade sign the check. The glorification of hard work is not a virtue. It's a control mechanism. It was never meant to be something that you forever do. It's meant to be something that you do so you can create a way to not do it. No, I'm saying that because it is a society that glorifies endless work. And everybody say work, 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 work. And all the people who are saying work, who you're listening to, who are rich, who have it all, are not working with their hands. They're thinking sharper. So while the elite engineer the conditions that make you feel like working harder is necessary, who's benefiting from this thing? And then you become so loyal and so dedicated and your head is so far in a tunnel to realize that you're suffering while those who are powerful are not doing the grind that you are doing. You're overworked, you're overweight, you're overwhelmed, you're overstressed, you're underrested. All for what? You're on a treadmill. And that hard work is a treadmill dressed up as a staircase that gives you the illusion of progress while keeping you exactly where you are. You're complaining, you're whining, but all that effort is useless because you have made this hard work your end. You think you can do it on your back. It doesn't materialize for you. You must be better in the way you think. You have to have better strategy. You have to know how to leverage. Success is leverage. It cannot be built on your back, if you need to hear me say it again. Yeah, if you want me to go further on gratitude, because I love gratitude. I was raised with the idea of gratitude. And I think it was Plato who said that a grateful mind is a great mind, which eventually attracts itself to great things. That's not something mystical. It's basic, and when you are centered, your decisions are better. When you are appreciative, you attract people who operate from that same energy. When you are grounded, you are less likely to be manipulated, distracted, or derailed. You don't just show up, but you show up differently. You attract differently. So before your day gets hijacked by obligations, overwhelms, pressures, problems, worries, own those first seconds, not with pressure, not with a plan, but with a presence that I am grateful to be here. Feel it. Let it soften your breath and widen your perspective. That phrase may seem small, but it holds the power to recalibrate your entire system. Gratitude is not passive. It's powerful. It's how you take control before the world gets a chance to do it. It's about not existing, but living. I tell you something about school that is a big contradiction. So one of the greatest idea of school, the premise upon which school was built, is one of the most missed concept of the idea of school. And it sounds confusing. Let me explain what I mean. School is where you learn to learn. That's where you were told to wake up a certain time, go here, sit here, somebody come in front of you, got the information, they drilled it into you, you adopted that attitude of learning. The miss is that, the contradiction is that we don't get the lesson that we should become learners for the rest of our lives. So we take learning as a part of life instead as a way of life. So the minute we get out of school and you give us a job and you give us some status that we attach to ourselves by the material things we've gained, we become arrogant. We know everything, we don't want to learn anymore, and the only way we will learn if it's attached to a couple more dollars on our pay. Everything else we already know. We opinion our way and pose behind it as if it is a fact. And The reality is that after school, 10, 20, 30 years into a job, into your little social circle and your little corporate or business circle, you have not scratched the surface of learning. I think one writer said that the more I learn, the more I realize how little I knew. You must be a forever learner. You must be humble enough to have a teachable spirit. In times of change, the learner shall inherit the earth, while the learned, those who think they know it all, will find themselves beautifully equipped with knowledge for a world that no longer exists. All right, let me try to bring it home in a grade 4 way so I don't lose anybody. So there are two farmers, lived 15 miles away from a well. There's no water where their farms were and the village in which they live. So each day they had to go with buckets to carry water from 15 miles to their farms for their family and to tend to their crops. Every day after that 15-mile journey, one farmer was so tired, but he was digging a trench because in his mind he wanted to one day have water run from the well through that trench to his farm instead of carrying it. One farmer says he's tired, he's just carrying the water. He don't know how this other farmer find the strength to be digging a trench. He dig what he could dig in the evenings after he's carried the water 15 miles. Okay, 3 years in, the trench is finished. Water start to flow. He no longer have to carry water for that 15 miles. So both farmers was working hard. One farmer worked a little harder on the strategy because he had cemented a plan and a strategic outlook in his mind to leverage something so that one day he could get off that 15-mile journey carrying water. In 3 years, he was in a better position, better quality life, more water for his family, more water for his farm. He could lay pipes further down the road and change his life forever just by realizing that he could not be consistently depending on his back, on his muscles, on his strength, his physical strength to be carrying this water 15 miles for the rest of his life. So he pushed a little harder with a plan, leveraged that trench, and his life changed in 3 years. That is what I mean when I say that you cannot have hard work as the be-all and end-all. It cannot be a long-term strategy. I sound like a scratch record saying this, but I think this quote by Warren Buffett that says that it's not important how hard you row, but the boat you're in when you're rowing. And it is evident that the most powerful men are not the ones toiling and sweating and dying in the fields. The most powerful people are the ones who understand the timeless principle of control, which is not earned by labor. It's acquired by leverage. The prince does not rule because he works harder than the peasant. He rules because he sees further, he moves quieter, and he thinks sharper. Strategy is louder than labor. It's less romantic. The idea that you can never get rich going to work. You get rich putting people to work or putting a system to work. That can be disputed, but it cannot be disproved. You cannot build riches, wealth, success on your back. You have to have a way to leverage out yourself from the toil and put it onto a system or onto something else after you have used hard work to lay the foundation. So don't think you're gonna wake up at 20 and grind until you're 60 and create an awesome life. It's not gonna work. There's a price that you have to be willing to pay. The cost of your new life is your old life. You're not overwhelmed. You know why you feel empty? It's not that you're broken. It's because your soul starved for structure. Your soul starves for self-respect. You keep feeding yourself drunk, distractions, dopamine hit from social, dead-end relationship, dead-end jobs, and then you wonder why you feel sick and lost. You're starving because you are undermining your own greatness. You have to feed that greatness. And if you have the mindset, you need the methods. And that's what I've done in my 7-step cheat sheet guide about how to get things done or how to make a move in your life. It's in my bio, it's in the description somewhere on this page. Download it and use it as a launching pad. It's not going to be your overall solution, but it's a launching pad. It's somewhere to start. Download the guide, read it, embody it, and change your life.